Hello, everyone. Today is Friday, December the 18th, and this is the 27th edition of Book Fun Friday. As always, welcome. The young adult novel I'm going to be talking about today is titled Little and Lion, and it's written by the author Brandy Colbert. Let me tell you a little bit about this book. I think we can all agree that being a teenager is hard. And one of the things that I really love about young adult literature is that it honestly addresses the challenges of being a teen. Well, the protagonist of this particular book is a teenage girl named Suzette, and Suzette is navigating those typical teen challenges. Except there are some added layers to Suzette's difficulties being a teen that are actually magnifying those challenges, those normal challenges of teenagehood. Suzette is part of a blended family. She and her mom are black, and they are blended with her stepfather and stepbrother, who are white. Now, for Suzette and her mom, that's not an issue. Suzette loves her stepdad. She loves her stepbrother. She and her stepbrother are extremely close. But that presents some challenges from time to time when she and her brother are out in public together, and people sort of look at them differently than they would otherwise. It doesn't bother her being stepbrother and stepsister, except when she feels that she has to defend that to strangers out there in the world. So that's a challenge. Another challenge, which is profoundly deeper than that, is the fact that not only is her stepbrother white, he has recently been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Now, Suzette is the kind of girl who takes very seriously the responsibility of family. And when her parents, her mom and her stepdad, begin to realize that she is all about her brother's diagnosis and she spends all of her time worried about him and trying to take care of him, they make the difficult decision to send her away to boarding school. So she has uprooted from her life in Los Angeles. She is sent 3,000 miles across the country to New England to attend to be in boarding school in Massachusetts, all the while trying to navigate being a teenager in the midst of all of this. Well, when the novel opens, Suzette has come home for the summer, and her brother, Lionel, is there to pick her up at the airport. And it's really the first time they've spent time together or interacted together in a long stretch of time. And she's especially concerned how he's doing with that diagnosis of bipolar. I need to note, too, that because she and her stepbrother are so close, they have these little nicknames for each other. He calls her Little. She's younger than he. And she calls him Lion. His name is Lionel, but she calls him Lion. So Little and Lion. You'll hear that in their dialogue in this particular part of the book. It's bizarre to be so nervous about seeing the person who knows me best, but the past year hasn't been so kind to Lionel and me. I'm standing outside LAX on a sun-soaked afternoon in early June when my brother's navy blue sedan screeches to a halt a few feet away. Part of me doesn't mind that he's 30 minutes late because I needed time to get used to the idea of being back home. But now he's here, and my heart is thumping like it's going to jump out of my mouth, and there's nowhere to go. Lionel bolts from the car and barely looks at me before he starts rummaging around in the trunk, shoving aside a plastic crate filled with used books to make room for my luggage. I am so sorry, he mutters. The freeway was a nightmare. There really is no such thing as traffic back in Avalon, Massachusetts. People don't honk their horns. They put up with totally inconsiderate crap, like neighbors stopping their Volvos and Saabs in the middle of tree-lined streets to chat with friends, clogging up the road so no one else can pass. LA drivers would honk until their horns went dead, while flipping them off and threatening murder. And I've missed that. Lionel hoists my bag into the trunk, slams it closed, and turns to give me a quick hug. But it feels perfunctory, and that makes me stiffen in his arms. I wonder why we're acting like strangers. I relax a bit when I notice he smells so much like he is supposed to smell, like the coziness of our house and the mustiness of his car, which is always filled with hiking boots and books. I'm almost overwhelmed with the reality of actually being home and standing next to Lionel. For a while now. Not just a weekend or a few days, clustered around a holiday. I'll be here for a while. I'm home for the summer. Good to see you, little, he says, pulling away as he tugs one of the black dreadlocks that hang to the middle of my back. That name never sounded so good. My brother calls me Suzette only when he's feeling anxious, and I'm relieved that he seems so calm right now. I smile, and I pretend like I'm not examining every single inch of him for changes. Yeah? I don't look too East Coasty? I glance down at his thumbs. Before, they were shredded, the sides of them forever bitten and spotted with red. But now, they're smooth, and the skin is clean, and I think that's a good thing. He squints at me, blinks, shakes his head. Nah, they haven't broken you yet. When did you get that? My fingers automatically go up to the tiny gold hoop on my face. It's a septum piercing. Badass, but still classy, according to the girl who put the needle through my nose at the only tattoo shop in Avalon. Do you like it? He leans closer, his eyes glued to the jewelry. Yeah, I never pictured it on you, but I dig it. Does Nadine know? Nadine does not know. She is my mother, and she's been with Lionel's father, Saul, since I was 6 and Lionel was 7. We merged households 2 years later. Lion and I have called each other brother and sister ever since, and that surprises some people at first because he's white and I'm black. But we've been built-in best friends for practically our entire lives. Until last fall, when boarding school separated the inseparable. Let's move it along, people, a sturdy man wearing a fluorescent vest booms, gesturing toward the cars backed up in the lanes surrounding us. We hustle to our respective sides of the car, and a few seconds later, Lionel successfully steers us out of the throng of airport traffic amid a cacophony of honking horns and hissing shuttle brakes. The parents are waiting for us, he says, but I'm starving. Are you starving? Want to sneak off and grab a bite first? What I want is to go straight to my bed and collapse into a deep sleep for about 12 hours. But all I've had today is a pack of peanuts and 2 cans of cherry cola, and as soon as he mentions my favorite taco truck, I forget about my jet lag and agree. How are you? I ask, looking over at Lion. His dark red hair is in need of a cut, but he looks good, healthy. His blue eyes are focused, and I feel like I am looking at the version of Lion I truly know, the Lionel I've missed. I'm good, he says, shrugging as if the question isn't loaded. I just finished this incredible article in the New Yorker. Have you read this week's issue? I shake my head. It's no fun reading them if I'm not stealing yours. He takes his hand off the steering wheel to flick my shoulder, and I grin. I needed that flick almost more than his hug. Besides, I don't really have time to read for fun anymore, I say. A year ago, I wouldn't have been able to fathom making such a statement. You really haven't been reading? He asks. I know, I sigh. I fully expect to be disowned. He looks over and smirks. Heavily judged, but not disowned. Your class is still tough? Kind of. They're time-consuming, mostly. Well, it's good you're here, he says. Now things can go back to normal. Normal. But which is the normal, Lionel? The old or the new? I wouldn't know anymore, considering how little I've been able to see him over the past year. It wasn't my choice to go away, and the guilt of not being here for him is almost debilitating. I want to remind him of that every second, even though I know he's aware I didn't want to leave him. He pauses, not looking at me. Are you glad to be back? Yeah, I guess. I stick my arm out the window to feel the California sun on my skin. I mean, yes, but you know how you can get used to something even if you don't like it all that much? Yeah, little, he says, in a voice that holds too much weight. I do know. And again, this is Little and Lion, and it's written by the author Brandy Colbert. Well, guys, thank you so much, as always, for watching. I'm going to be on holiday break for the next couple of weeks, but I will be back in January for the next Book Fun Friday. In the meantime, continue taking care of yourselves. Stay healthy and well, and have a wonderful holiday season. And I'll see you again in January. Bye.